Right now at 9, a college in southeast Kansas getting closer to wrapping up a major expansion project. Plus,
cats from all over are here in Neosho to show off their stuff. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with what the Cat Show is all about.
also, want to learn how to grow your garden? We're going to head to Joplin Empire Market for a class aimed at just that. And we'll take you to a special Easter egg hunt down in Neosho. You're watching the KOAM News at 9, and it starts right now. And thank you for joining us. I'm Chris Warner. A new athletic complex at Lebec Community College in Parsons is nearing completion. The final piece of the Pathways to the Future campaign was to expand and create a true athletic complex on campus. The original gym was built back in the 80s and was not big enough to accommodate all the programs in athletics that Lebec offered. The gym has been renovated and work is progressing on an addition to house a number of programs for the campus.
You know, our coaches have done an amazing job in the past of recruiting students, but they come to campus and they're like, wow, my high school was nicer than this. And you know, that's not what you want to hear. We're a college and we do amazing things and are creating future leaders in the community and beyond. And we want to have the facilities to have a first-class experience for those students, just like they deserve.
Now, Forbes says they're looking forward to a building dedication this fall for the new athletic complex. If you're looking to get into gardening, the Joplin Empire Market has you covered. Eric Osen, a master gardener with the University of Missouri Extension Office, is teaching a series of beginning gardening classes. Each class will cover different aspects of gardening. Throughout the series, Osen will give expert advice for anyone to learn how to grow their own food.
There's always concerns about food security and being able to, feed your family. And this is a healthy outdoor family activity. This is something that you could do with your kids, your grandkids, to spend time with them.
The classes will take place at the Webb City Farmers Market, Joplin Empire Market, and the Joplin Public Library. For more details on the classes, you can head over to our website at koamnewsnow.com. Cat lovers from all over came to Neosho to show off their pets and to learn more about different cat breeds. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky checked out the cat show and spoke with some cat lovers about their feline friends.
The Cat Fanciers Association is the world's largest registry of pedigree cats, and they came to Neosho to give breeders a chance to show off their animals.
This is Longmire. His name's Pertopia Longmire. He's a grand champion and he's an exotic short hair.
Lisa Thorstensen is the president of Show Me Cat Fanciers and put on Saturday's cat show. She's also the owner of Longmire, who's been shown all across the country.
Right now he's ranking in the Midwest region top 25 cats, so he should get a regional win this year since our show season ends on April 30th.
The Cat Fanciers Association is equivalent to the American Kennel Club for dogs, and different cats were judged on various standards.
It's a lot of community awareness about the different breeds of the cats that we have.
Cat lovers from all over came out to see what the Springtime in the Ozarks cat show was all about.
Yes, my shirt! So this is one of my cats. Her name is Gypsum. We name all our cats after minerals or elements. And my roommates, our cousins, got us this shirt and I love it.
Jadith James loves cats, especially her own, but says she was also able to learn more about different cat breeds.
Oh, the cats are gorgeous. And I have been so impressed at how they're all so well behaved. Yes, the Maine Coons and the Siamese are my favorite.
Tyler Binkley came from Milan, Missouri to check out some cats he's never seen.
There's lots of different breeds, some that we've never seen before. There's lots of long-haired ones and really big ones, really small ones, short-haired ones, skinny ones. So there's a lot of cats to see.
With over 100 cats at the show, attendees got a better understanding of the world of pedigree cats and about all the different breeds out there. In Neosho, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
This is the second cat show in Neosho by the Cat Fanciers Association. After a cold start, temperatures warmed up to a beautiful day. Nick Kelly joining us.
And we're talking about a big jump, Chris. That's because we had mostly sunny skies all day, really low humidity, but a good south wind. Before I pop up the numbers, though, this was just before we completely saw the sun set. Nice looking view of the sun setting earlier this evening. But 30, we had a freeze this morning before we catapulted to 69 degrees. That was just a Joplin regional alone. Everybody made do with upper 60s and even some lower 70s across the board for today. We just have some upper level clouds trying to stream in as we get the late night hours underway. But here's our warm front that'll send us into the 70s tomorrow. Then this cold front. That's what we're going to watch very closely tomorrow evening and tomorrow night, with thunderstorm chances looking to increase as well. But even though the clouds increase overnight, partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies tomorrow. We're dry for much of the day, but with that south wind in gear, Chris, we're going to go from the mid-50s, thankfully not as cold for tomorrow morning, to highs at least in the mid-70s. We'll break down how temperatures look for the rest of the week and detailed thunderstorm chances on the way here in a few.
All right, Nick, thank you. Easter's next weekend, and you know what that means? Easter egg hunts. Kids of all ages are going to hunt for prizes and candy, but what about our dogs? All Dogs Dream in Neosho decided to host a dog Easter egg hunt. Dogs from small to large gathered to sniff out plastic Easter eggs with peanut butter on them. They even had a chance to win prizes like baths, nail trimmings, and more.
We always have kid Easter egg hunts. Thought it would be really cute to try it with the dogs and see how many of them actually show interest and go and hunt for them. We are putting peanut butter on the plastic eggs to try to entice the dogs to find them in the yard.
Anyone from the community was able to attend and bring their furry four-legged friend. About 300 kids gathered this morning at Lincoln Park to grab as many eggs as they could get filled with some treats. Pittsburgh Parks and Recreation put on an Easter egg hunt for the community.
Today's just about the kids, getting them out here, getting them engaged in outdoors, and then of course the hunts. All the kids love the hunt.
There were 6 different fields participating in the egg hunts, ages ranging from 0 to 11 years. And we take this time now to honor one of our many 4-state heroes. James Weaver served in the Air Force from 1973 to 1974, his hometown, Miami. We're proud to recognize James Weaver, tonight's 4-state hero. And of course, to learn more about our other heroes or nominate one of your own, you can do that anytime at KOAMNewsNow.com. After the forecast, another multinational tech company stops business with Russia.
Well, Doug hit the nail on the head. Based on how we started this morning out, we actually had a good freeze across much of the area, but fortunately, with the way the weather panned out, we did not stay cold for long throughout the rest of the day. In fact, temperatures were better compared to yesterday afternoon, where it was a bit chilly with upper 40s and lower 50s across the region. Back near 30 this morning. You saw those numbers from the almanac earlier, pushing near 70 this afternoon. So this was a good rebound. We'll break down why here in a few, but if we look down the road, a quick glimpse down the road, I'm watching thunderstorm chances with our next front tomorrow evening, tomorrow night into Monday morning. Then I got additional rain and storm chances Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and even Saturday for that matter. But despite all these rain chances coming and going, I think temperatures will be mainly mild as we go throughout the course of the coming week, and certainly as we approach the Easter holiday next weekend. The short term, though, looking good from 7th of range line. The numbers from the top of the 9 o'clock hour has Joplin at 61, southeast breeze at 8. But look at the humidity. This was really low throughout the day. Couple that with the good south wind, the low humidity, and the mostly sunny skies. That's what allowed us to really warm up throughout the course of the day. But again, back at the 9 o'clock hour, at the top of the hour, we still had temperatures not too bad overall, either near 60 or pushing into the mid 60s at least, especially in southeast Kansas. A little cooler as you work toward Table Rock Lake and Stockton Lake. But these numbers aren't going to turn anywhere near as cold as what we saw this morning because of our south wind still in place. At about 10 to 15 miles per hour at last check, but these winds are going to crank up even more ahead of our next storm system that will approach us starting tomorrow. So we don't have anything happening right now, just some high clouds trying to sneak in from the west. However, here's your surface map setup. We've got this warm front that'll start to work on through overnight. That'll keep us from dropping off so much. This will also push us into the 70s tomorrow. Then we got this cold front out to the west and this upper level wave with some upper level energy coming from the Pacific Northwest. That and the accompanying cold front. That's what we're going to have to keep an eye on closely as we head into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night to kick off a week of quite a few rain chances to keep an eye on. But throughout the overnight, gradually turning partly cloudy, but temperatures not too keen to drop off so much, fortunately, this time around. Maybe some upper 40s around Stockton Lake, but most of us in the lower to middle 50s to start the morning out. We'll bounce back and forth between partly sunny and mostly cloudy skies throughout the day tomorrow. But we're dry for much of the day, so your Palm Sunday is not looking too bad. 54 in the morning, 72 by noon, and a high of 77. Keep in mind, though, any outdoor plans, especially during the afternoon, that south wind will be sustained at 15 to 25, but some gusts could push near 35 at times. Now let me take you to tomorrow evening. Here's 7 o'clock. This is the cold front pushing on through. And out ahead of it, we'll watch for some widely scattered thunderstorms that could be strong to severe. Then we're going to get a bigger complex of rain and storms to take us through the rest of the overnight and into Monday morning. And those are the storms that we're going to keep a close eye on because they could pack a strong punch and maybe a little bit of a low severe threat. You can see how the better threat wants to stay mainly east of the region, but from 7 o'clock tomorrow evening at the earliest to maybe 3 a.m. Monday, we'll watch for any stronger storms with wind, hail, maybe some heavy rainfall too. I'm not too concerned about the tornado threat, but as far as rain amounts go, with just the first batch of rain, we can see anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to maybe 1.5 inches. It all depends on how that heavy rain sets up and tracks on through the area. But again, that's not the only system I'm watching this week. Here's Tuesday. We've got another system that'll bring us rain and thunderstorm chances, maybe a severe threat Tuesday and Wednesday. Looking dry for Thursday. Then we've got better rain chances going into the Easter holiday weekend. Despite all these rain chances lining up that Doug, Michael, and I will keep a very close eye on, you can see how we stay just consistently mild throughout the week. 77 tomorrow, 64 Monday, 78 Tuesday, then lower to middle 60s as we start heading into the Easter holiday weekend. Chris?
Nick, thank you. Up next, Amazon is taking issue over the results of a recent labor organization vote. Another multinational tech company stops business with Russia over its invasion of Ukraine. Computer chip maker Intel is suspending business operations inside Russia after stopping shipments of their products to the country in March. Tech giant says it's also implemented business continuity measures to keep disruption to its global operations to a minimum. Intel now joins a growing list of Western tech companies such as IBM, Dell Technologies, and HP that have curtailed or cut off business with Russia. Amazon taking issue over the results of a recent labor organization vote. The tech and e-commerce giant filing an objection to their employees' decision to form a union at the Staten Island, New York location. Amazon asking the National Labor Relations Board to hold a new election after claiming organizers intimidated employees, recorded voters at voting places, and even gave marijuana in exchange for support. Amazon also accused the NLRB of failing to maintain integrity and neutrality of the voting. An electric car maker proclaims new self-driving technology will shift mass transportation into the sustainable future. Tesla CEO Elon Musk saying Thursday in Austin, Texas, that his company will help produce a fully autonomous urban robo-taxi. Sample looks have been seen in Musk's boring company renderings. The tall cars could have large windows, sliding doors, with seats facing to the front and sides, and no driver controls. No timetable for development has been given. If you're planning to build your dream home or any home, now may not be the best time because of supply chain issues and rising construction costs. Fox's Joy Addison has more from Dallas.
The family building the home behind me thought they would be moved in by the end of 2021. Now they say they'll be happy to be in by the fall. And the overall price of this house has gone up, including a nearly 50% increase in the price of lumber alone.
Okay, perfect. We finally got a plan, and then you move along, and next thing you know, the price to get the home built has moved on you. So it's trying to hit a moving target.
Grant Everett is one of thousands of frustrated home buyers building during the pandemic. He says the process has been excruciating.
One of the biggest headaches is trying to plan and budget and designing a house and trying to fit in what you think is going to be affordable, and then finding out that lumber's 100% more than it was when you were in the design phase is pretty frustrating.
The lumber on this particular home right here, when we first bid this house out, it was about $80,000 worth of lumber. By the time we got ready to start, it was $150,000 worth of lumber.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, single-family home construction costs went up by 17.5% from 2020 to 2021, the largest yearly spike since 1970. Michael Turner says in his 17 years of home building, he's never seen a market like this.
In pest markets, you might change the type of materials that you use to maybe find something that's a little more cost effective. Right now, with material shortages, we're using what materials we can get.
The Dallas Builders Association aims to help keep the housing market affordable.
Every $1,000 increase in the price of a new home, no matter how that happens, prices 20,000 Texas families out of the ability and opportunity to afford that home.
Now it's asking the government to step in and make adjustments.
There's been a tariff on lumber since 2017, and all it's doing is constraining supply and adding and exacerbating the price increases that we've seen.
The Dallas Builders Association and many others across the country are now recommending only building one-story homes and making as many material substitutions as possible until these costs come down. In Dallas, Joy Addison, Fox News. Still ahead, some chocolates, including Easter time treats, are being recalled over possible contamination. Some chocolates, including Easter time treats, are being recalled over possible contamination. Kinder's Mixed Chocolate Treats Basket and Kinder's Happy Moments Chocolate and Crispy Wafer Assortment have been recalled for a possible salmonella contamination. Parent company Ferrero says the baskets were sold in Connecticut and Massachusetts, and Happy Moments and wafer assortments were sold in the San Francisco Bay Area and Nevada. Consumers there are advised not to eat them, and you can find refund information on the FDA website. COVID restrictions may be lifted soon in China's largest city. Officials on Saturday say lockdowns will soon be easing in communities across Shanghai that have no positive COVID cases within 14 days after a fresh round of testing. After being tested, residential areas will be classified as precautionary, controlled, and locked down, depending on the COVID results. Latest round of testing comes after the city reported only 2 confirmed cases on Friday. Lockdown restrictions have been in place since March 28th. The healthcare workforce is slowly returning back to pre-pandemic levels. That's according to a study published Friday in the journal JAMA Health Forum. Researchers compared turnover rates between April through December of 2020 and January through October of 2021. They found that rates peaked in the first part of the pandemic, but largely recovered in the second. About 1.5 million workers lost their jobs when hospitals postponed elective surgeries and clinics closed during the early stages of the pandemic. Researchers say more healthcare workers with young children left the workforce. The rate was higher among women. According to the study, the researchers were unable to address why people were quitting. Well, raising a child is costly in the United States, but it is generally more so in the Far East. South Korea and China top the list of countries where it is most expensive to raise a child from birth to age 18. Research by Jeffries determined rankings through percentage of per capita gross domestic product. Following South Korea and China is Italy, with the U.S. in the middle of the top 14 between Germany and Japan. Researchers say a big part of the cost in China has to do with the fact preschool services had been mostly private until recently. The study finds it takes more than $75,000 to raise a child until 18 in China. In America, there are options for lawmakers to help cut the cost of parents having children. China's government is working to make after-school tutoring more accessible, and researchers believe help for nursery and kindergarten expenses is next. We're wrapping up this half hour of the news at 9 with why you need to give your sibling or siblings some extra love tomorrow. Well, if you have a sibling, be sure to call or hug them on Sunday. You know why? Well, because it's National Siblings Day. Every April the 10th marks the holiday, which is also called World Siblings Day. Family, of course, a huge part of people's lives, and it's time to celebrate the family members that have been a huge part of your life, your siblings. Whether they poke a little fun at you or encourage you, siblings are there through it all, oftentimes being your greatest motivator as well as your greatest competitor. Cameron, do you have any siblings? I do. You do? And are you going to celebrate them tomorrow? That's the big question. I will. You're going to, okay. Have you ever had any fights with them? I have.
See, that's the thing. I mean, it said poke fun. Yeah, Nick even said, who hasn't? I mean, they say poke fun. I'm telling you, there can be some good old just brawls between siblings. Something else that we've got going on is 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports that's coming your way. Up first, a Western state's highest court temporarily blocks an abortion ban bill. And food prices keep rising worldwide as the war in Ukraine goes on. A Western state's highest court temporarily blocks an abortion ban bill. Idaho State Supreme Court has stayed the implementation of a new state bill after abortion providers asked the court to intervene to delay when the law went into effect, saying that provisions in the bill are unconstitutional. The state bill is similar to a Texas law that bans abortions after fetal heart detection, generally around 6 weeks, and has provisions for private citizens to sue abortion providers in violation. Food prices keep rising worldwide as the war in Ukraine goes on. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization's Food Price Index, which tracks a basket of food commodities, rose 12.6% in March. Grain prices like wheat, oats, barley, and corn are up 17%. Vegetable oil prices rose 23%. Ukraine is a key wheat producer and leads the world in sunflower seed oil production. The UN fears war disruption could threaten food supply in the Middle East, Africa, and parts of Asia. At least 3 people are dead after a gunman opens fire at a shooting range in Georgia. On Friday night, the Grantville Police Department responded to a shocking scene at the Lock, Stock, and Barrel shooting range. Officers say the owner of the business, his wife, and their grandson had been shot during a robbery at the business. The robbery happened at around 5:30, and officers arrived to the scene shortly after 8 o'clock. Investigators say the suspects took off with around 40 weapons and the camera footage from the scene. ATF agents were called in to assist because of the large amount of weapons stolen. People who lived nearby say everything appeared normal earlier in the day. The high-profile trial of Oregon romance novelist Nancy Crampton Brophy started this week. She's accused of killing her husband, Daniel Brophy, in June of 2018, just before students of the Oregon Culinary Institute walked in for class. Fox's Connor McCarthy sat in on the trial and has the key takeaways.
Nearly 4 years after Daniel Brophy was found dead inside a kitchen at the Oregon Culinary Institute, the accused killer sat in a Multnomah County courtroom facing her peers that will determine her fate. 71-year-old Nancy Brophy, Daniel's wife, sat emotionless in court as the prosecution and the defense laid out their case. Prosecutors claim Nancy shot and killed her husband on June 2, 2018 as a way to collect his life insurance money. State lawyers claim the couple started having financial troubles in 2016, with Brophy's pulling $35,000 out of their 401k. $15,000 went to guns. Nancy researched ghost guns in 2017 and the first part of 2018. Now, according to prosecutors, she purchased a ghost gun that she never used and then a Glock 17 later that year. It was on that day in June when Nancy used her gun on her husband, according to prosecutors. They showed surveillance video from the campus that morning. Nancy's minivan can be seen driving around, and then she disappears for 18 minutes. 4 days later, prosecutors played a recording of Nancy asking the detectives to be exonerated.
My insurance company said, well, just have the detective write a letter that you're no longer a suspect. And I said, man, I just don't know that he's there. And I'm not sure that he looks at it that way. But if you do, I'd get you to write the letter.
We never do something like that. That's never been done. I've never heard of that being done.
The defense denies all what the prosecutors presented. Their alternative narrative was that Nancy was at a Starbucks in Washington County when Dan was shot. They say her fascination with guns stemmed from a period where mass shootings were grabbing headlines. Her lawyers say the idea Nancy wanted to kill her husband for money was false because the couple was fiscally stable. The defense painted a picture of a perfect couple who were madly in love.
Nancy Brophy knew that she was very, very blessed to have the marriage that she did, and so she nurtured it. For years at writer conferences, Nancy Brophy talked to Dan every night.
But what grabbed the jury's attention Monday was a 911 call from the prosecution's first witness, a bakery student who made that call about finding Dan dead in the culinary school.
Okay, he's bleeding out of his chest. Bleeding out of his chest? Okay. Yeah. Does he just started bleeding? Okay, is someone still doing CPR? Yes. No, just to keep going.
One piece of evidence that was dismissed by the judge was a 2011 essay Nancy wrote called How to Murder Your Husband. That's the piece of evidence that really brought this case to the national stage. The judge called it inadmissible. A key border policy is coming to an end, which could lead to a surge of migration at the southern border. Title 42 is set to end next month, and Border Patrol officials are warning people not to make the dangerous journey. Fox News multimedia reporter Jake Karalexis has the story from Tucson, Arizona.
Border Patrol officials this afternoon saying they're getting ready to increase patrols and manpower ahead of Title 42 ending May 23rd. Title 42 put in place during the coronavirus pandemic to allow the U.S. to quickly deport illegal immigrants. The decision to end the public health order has put officials along the southern border with Mexico on alert. The Assistant Chief Patrol Agent for the Tucson sector says an influx of illegal border crossings wouldn't be a surprise.
We knew that this wasn't a permanent situation, so we've been preparing for quite a while now, adjusting our resources, adjusting our personnel where we need it best, and we will continue to do so with or without Title 42 being a factor in how we process individuals in our custody.
Members of the United States Border Patrol held a press conference earlier this afternoon with officials from Guatemala and Mexico, two countries which many migrants have come from. One shocking statistic, Border Patrol says there's already been 35 migrant deaths crossing the southern border into Arizona this year. That's compared to 74 for all of last year. Officials emphasized the dangers of crossing the border illegally.
We take this opportunity to put out any messaging that we can to help people make a different decision, prepare themselves, or otherwise make better choices instead of risking their lives.
Border Patrol expects May and June to see a spike in migrants coming to the border before conditions get too hot over the summer. In Tucson, Arizona, Jake Karalexis, Fox News.
Later on the news at 9, we're going to take a look at the 2022 GMC Hummer EV.
Well, Doug hit the nail on the head. Based on how we started this morning out, we actually had a good freeze across much of the area, but fortunately with the way the weather panned out, we did not stay cold for long throughout the rest of the day. In fact, temperatures were better compared to yesterday afternoon, where it was a bit chilly with upper 40s and lower 50s across the region. Back near 30 this morning. You saw those numbers from the almanac earlier, pushing near 70 this afternoon. So this was a good rebound. We'll break down why here in a few. But if we look down the road, a quick glimpse down the road, I'm watching thunderstorm chances with our next front tomorrow evening, tomorrow night into Monday morning. Then I got additional rain and storm chances Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and even Saturday for that matter. But despite all these rain chances coming and going, I think temperatures will be mainly mild as we go throughout the course of the coming week, and certainly as we approach the Easter holiday next weekend. The short term, though, looking good from 7th and range line. The numbers from the top of the 9 o'clock hour has Joplin at 61, southeast breeze at 8. But look at the humidity. This was really low throughout the day. Couple that with a good south wind, the low humidity, and the mostly sunny skies. That's what allowed us to really warm up throughout the course of the day. But again, back at the 9 o'clock hour, at the top of the hour, we still had temperatures not too bad overall, either near 60 or pushing into the mid 60s at least, especially in southeast Kansas. A little cooler as you work toward Table Rock Lake and Stockton Lake. But these numbers aren't going to turn anywhere near as cold as what we saw this morning because of our south wind still in place. That's about 10 to 15 miles per hour at last check, but these winds are going to crank up even more ahead of our next storm system that will approach us starting tomorrow. So we don't have anything happening right now, just some high clouds trying to sneak in from the west. However, here's your surface map setup. We've got this warm front that'll start to work on through overnight. That'll keep us from dropping off so much. This will also push us into the 70s tomorrow. Then we got this cold front out to the west, and this upper level wave with some upper level energy coming from the Pacific Northwest. That and the accompanying cold front. That's what we're going to have to keep an eye on closely as we head into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night to kick off a week of quite a few rain chances to keep an eye on. But throughout the overnight, gradually turning partly cloudy, but temperatures not too keen to drop off so much, fortunately, this time around. Maybe some upper 40s around Stockton Lake, but most of us in the lower to middle 50s to start the morning out. We'll bounce back and forth between partly sunny and mostly cloudy skies throughout the day tomorrow. But we're dry for much of the day, so your Palm Sunday is not looking too bad. 54 in the morning, 72 by noon, and a high of 77. Keep in mind, though, any outdoor plans, especially during the afternoon, that south wind will be sustained at 15 to 25, but some gusts could push near 35 at times. Now let me take you to tomorrow evening. Here's 7 o'clock. This is the cold front pushing on through. And out ahead of it, we'll watch for some widely scattered thunderstorms that could be strong to severe. Then we're going to get a bigger complex of rain and storms to take us through the rest of the overnight and into Monday morning. And those are the storms that we're going to keep a close eye on because they could pack a strong punch and maybe a little bit of a low severe threat. You can see how the better threat wants to stay mainly east of the region. But from 7 o'clock tomorrow evening at the earliest to maybe 3 a.m. Monday, we'll watch for any stronger storms with wind, hail, maybe some heavy rainfall too. I'm not too concerned about the tornado threat. But as far as rain amounts go, with just the first batch of rain, we can see anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to maybe 1.5 inches. It all depends on how that heavy rain sets up and tracks on through the area. But again, that's not the only system I'm watching this week. Here's Tuesday. We've got another system that'll bring us rain and thunderstorm chances, maybe a severe threat Tuesday and Wednesday. Looking dry for Thursday. Then we've got better rain chances going into the Easter holiday weekend. Despite all these rain chances lining up that Doug, Michael, and I will keep a very close eye on, you can see how we stay just consistently mild throughout the week. 77 tomorrow, 64 Monday, 78 Tuesday, then lower to middle 60s as we start heading into the Easter holiday weekend. Chris?
Nick, thank you. Coming up in sports, an early look at the Missouri Southern football team. The Lions host their annual spring game. Plus, rivals Pitt State and Missouri Southern hit the field today for a doubleheader. Danny Terzer's got that and more next.
It's never too early to talk a little college football. The Missouri Southern Lions are coming off their best season since 2014, and today we get a little taste of what the upcoming fall might look like. Missouri Southern hits the field today for their annual spring game. A little trickery early in the first. Luke Sampson finds Ezekiel Lang for a 31-yard touchdown reception, his first of 2 touchdowns today. White team up 7-0. Now the white team back in the red zone. Dawson Hurl connects with Deontay Campbell for 6. Next possession for Green. Holman Booker is there with the pick. He gets 2 interceptions in the game. Later, Hurl goes back to Campbell. He reels it in one-handed. What a catch. It's all white team in this one. They get the win over Green 28-3.
He's a young man that came in and he's had the right mindset the entire time. He wants to get better. He wants to make our team better, and he's a phenomenal athlete.
He's made a big impact for us, and we're happy to have him here. So I think he'll be a big part of our offense this year. He's a big guy. He'll catch pretty much anything that comes to him, and he's a little faster. So it's always nice to have a little faster tight end.
Missouri Southern and Pittsburg State hit the field today for some rivalry softball action. The Lions enter the day ranked 6th in the MIAA and on a 4-game winning streak. Pitt State has home field advantage, hosting Southern for a doubleheader. In Game 1, 2 on for Leighton Withers. This one is gone. 3-run jack. Lions out in front. Later, Tristan Hinkle hits it back up the middle. RBI single. Scores Madison Szymanski, 3-2 Lions. Third inning, Withers takes it all the way to the wall for a double. Yasmin Vargas comes home. Next batter, Ashlyn Williams gets her 4th homer of the year. Another 3-run shot for Southern. The Lions hang on to take Game 1 7-4. Southern stays hot in Game 2, blanking Pittsburg State 10-0 in 5 innings. Yasmin Vargas hits a 3-run home run, and that's the 3rd one of those today for the Lions. Kristen Wade goes 2 for 2 with 3 RBI, and that's 6 straight for Southern. They're 10-4 in the MIAA. Southern baseball also on the road this weekend. Tough series at 4th-ranked Central Missouri. The Lions fell in the series opener 21-6. Try to put that behind them. Today, Tommy Stevenson homers in the 4th. The Lions hang on to the lead through 5.5, but ultimately they fall 3-2. Pitt State evens the series with Rogers State today, beating the Hillcats 7-5. The Gorillas took the lead in the 5th with a 5-run inning. Then Caden Fowler hit a go-ahead home run in the 7th. He finishes the day a perfect 3 for 3 with 2 RBI and 2 runs. Brett Daly also drives in 2. That's it for sports. We're back with the car report right after this.
Hummer is coming into the electric car world, and the changes will blow your mind. Fox's Gary Gastelou takes a look at the 2022 GMC Hummer EV.
It's a very big blast from the past that's leading General Motors' drive into the future. The GMC Hummer EV resurrects the infamous gas-guzzling nameplate on an all-electric pickup built on GM's new Ultium platform that will be used for all its upcoming EVs. The $112,000 Hummer EV Edition 1 launching this year has a tri-motor drivetrain with 1,000 horsepower, removable roof panels that fit in the power frunk, and a lunar motif that harkens back to GM's work on the Apollo program rather than the original Hummer's military roots. The Hummer EV is extra wide, which maximizes its stability and suspension travel for extreme off-roading. In fact, it's so broad, it needs these 3 amber lights to indicate that it's an oversized vehicle. And if you think it looks tall now, you haven't seen anything yet. It has a fully independent suspension with air springs, computer-controlled shocks, and an extract mode that can lift it 6 inches at low speeds if you manage to get its flat bottom stuck on something. And it can lower it 3 inches to engage watts to freedom mode, which helps the heavy-duty hauler accelerate to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. There's also a 4-wheel steering system that lets it make turns tighter than a compact car, and GM's hands-free Super Cruise that can drive it in a lane and pass slower cars all by itself on the highway. Now, as far as electric car efficiency goes, this has a range of 329 miles between charges, thanks mostly to its 200 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which is the largest on any retail vehicle today. But unlike the old Hummer H2, which got about 12 miles per gallon, this gets the equivalent of 47 miles per gallon, which is a lot for a large truck. Maybe not for a typical electric vehicle. That's because it's got to push that big face through the air, has the wide tires, and weighs over 9,000 pounds. Although with the 4-wheel steering, the suspension system, and all that power, plus 1,200 pound-feet of torque, it feels like a much smaller and nimbler vehicle. A unique feature called crab walk mode allows the 4-wheel steering system to turn the wheels in parallel up to 10 degrees so the Hummer EV can drive diagonally, which isn't exactly sideways like a crab, but does let it zig against the competition that can't even zag. In the 2022 GMC Hummer EV, Gary Gastelou, Fox News.
We'll be right back. A nice spring day near Los Angeles means it's snack time for a bear and some driveway sunshine. This bear was seen in La Cañada, Flint Ridge, munching down on what appears to be a pumpkin right at a home's front door. As temperatures get warmer across the country, more wild bears are waking up from hibernation. Environmental experts say the best way to prevent bears from getting near your home is to purchase bear-proof trash cans and not to leave trash, groceries, or pet food in your cars. I have a sneaking suspicion that that script was actually meant to say in like your cans, like your trash cans, but still good advice to not leave any of those things in your car at any time ever, especially when it gets really hot, because then it'll bake and then it'll smell awful and your car will smell awful and it'll be a lousy situation. That is our time for now. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be back here again tomorrow night at 9, and thanks for making us part of your night.